Warning, this video has spoilers. Welcome to Rizz, Son of Bones, the best game you've never heard of from the faraway land of 2013, in which you play as Bitus Titus, a great and feared general of Rome, crusading for the mighty Emperor Nero against God's greatest mistake, the British Isles. Along this journey, we shall learn how to Rizz enemies, why men should not live in forests, and the most effective tactics for regicide. Here we are, Rome. Your average town centre with capitalism, no slaves, and binknife.png. In this episode of Casual Murder, I shall elaborate upon the fine art of how to remove unnecessary limbs from the unworthy in the most time-effective manner for our bosses, God. The first question we must ask is what we shall use as our primary death-dealing weapons. Utilising the provocateur gladiator style will be
28 stab wound.
You may be wondering, how do I become a provocative gladiator? The answer is, of course, violence. In two varying flavours, sweet and spicy. Sweet invokes the power of Brexit football to teach them that Brexit is universal, and they are trapped on their silly rock. They made their choice. Spicy, on the other hand, turns my unfortunate victim into a violation of human rights, or unlucky sports accidents. Luckily, the Geneva Suggestions haven't been invented yet, so any form of murder is legal. Rather unfortunate for the Celts, as 6-foot flaming ballista bolts with same-day shipping haven't been made illegal yet. Next on the chopping block is this guy. His leaders are next. Lady Gaga, controller of the hordes. The forest-dwelling Golden Boy, the imposter in shining armor. Joe Rogan, Emperor of Rome and human rights violations winner 107 AD. Mr. Beast, evader of taxes. And Jeffrey. Going through one psychopath at a time, Lady Gaga is the warrior queen of the British hordes, much like Queen Elizabeth, including her average-size attack corgi.
Charge, my attack corgi!
Her penchant for dual-wielding swords, and her lack of clothing. She fights with speed, ferocity, and British fury, somehow creating shockwaves by hitting the ground. In this battle, we must block multi-hit attacks, heavy hits, and the occasional Sparta kick. Is Kevin McAllister after the 7th sequel leaves him stranded in the Amazon rainforest, where he wears the bones of the animals he traps and somehow starts a cult based around the density of your skull. He uses his massively dense skull to charge you head on, to which our response is to yeet the child into an open fire, turning him into burnt barbecue ribs. Fortunately for us, my skull is denser than his, and using it we shall break his ribs. Many times. Mr. Beast is a divine being who desires the end of civilization, and does this by taking over Starbucks to energize the uncivilized and govern the ungovernable. As the leader of the shadow government and professional lizard person, he pays for every
Raid Shadow Legends
advert to reprogram our tiny brains to serve him, the Lizard Lord. Golden Boy is a shinier clone of ourselves, committing fraudulent deeds as us, pretending he committed all the murder that we did. How dare he! I am fuming! It all ends in an epic battle in a coliseum in which he attempts to gas us to win. The coward. Luckily, I have inhaled dirt, and therefore am immune to poisons of any kind, and I can defeat him in a battle of wits and words. My words being a sword. Jeffrey, brother of Golden Boy, is not a fighter. He is not a schemer. He is the first sin, and has stolen many priceless artworks including the Starry Night, the Mona Lisa, the Thinker, the Statue of Liberty, 2 entire Colosseums, and Markiplier's OnlyFans. He has stolen my family, and there is a knife in my... The last psychopath to go over is Joe Rogan. He who uses the power and influence of Mr. Beast to promote his online podcast, talking about how cryptocurrency is the future of civilization, and that we should all invest by Jupiter's will. Obviously, he no longer has the right to lead, so Greta Thunberg orders us to stop his mass production of raid koi, stopping the Lizard Lord from spawning in. In the middle of our fight with him, we are stopped mid-fight by
Raid Shadow Legends!
We at last skip the act, noticing we have been stabbed multiple times in various places. Continuing onwards,
Think of the revenue and the trade the raid coin will bring. Imagine what good can be done. I'll even make you a co-creator like every 10!
I of course refuse this offer, chucking him onto an oversized sword and myself off a cliff, the consequences of my actions finally catching up with me. Final thoughts on this game. 1. I haven't tried the online, do not tell me this in the comments, for it looks too scary for my tiny lizard brain. 2. This game is very high quality for something from 2013. That is 10 years ago. It holds up well. 3. This story is very simple, but very entertaining, especially if you are a dingus like myself. Should you get this game? Yes, I am very biased. Does it contain an excessive amount of murder? Also yes, but this only makes the killing more satisfying. I would like to give my thanks to the corrupt government and businesses that are funding this channel, making this video possible. Subscribe to McDean fight the Lizard Lord.